Is there something that you would like to create in your life? Are you willing to do some manifesting for it? We're going to talk about an experience that we had and have you decide, was it a sign from the universe or was it coincidence? How is it we can do some amazing and sometimes unexplainable things, like heal our own bodies by the power of our thought? Mother's intuition, the law of attraction. Can we really tap into our subconscious mind? Can we really create our own realities? It begs the question, are we novice gods? Hey guys, I am super excited to share this story with you and super excited for my guest here.
Hey.
This is my daughter Ellie.
Hi, I'm Ellie.
And we're going to share this really cool, amazing story with you. So if you have ever wanted to create something in your life and have been willing to use your creation power to manifest it, listen to this story because we had an really cool experience happen to us, but we don't agree that it really worked the way that I think it worked. So we're looking, is this signs from the universe or was this coincidence? So first of all, let's start off. Ellie, when did this story happen?
It happened like July 14th, I think. Last
like
year.
A year and a half ago.
Yeah, so a little over a year ago. It's snowing.
It is snowing. It wasn't snowing in July, just so you know. Yeah. So it looked a little bit different than this. And Ellie was just turning 16, she had just turned 16, and more than anything, she wanted a car. And she didn't have enough money. And so but she started looking, and so she looked for cars, and I remember that she took me to go with her to try out a Jeep Grand Cherokee. Remember this?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
It was a sweet car.
It was a sweet car. Okay, we have a difference of opinion on this one too. Okay, so she had $1,200. That was her budget, and there's not a lot you can get with $1,200, right?
That's true.
That's true. Okay, so tell us about this Jeep Grand Cherokee that you found.
I thought it was sweet. It was nice. I always kind of wanted a bigger car, and I didn't really want to drive a small car because my experiences with small cars, they were like really small. I'd never been in a normally small car.
Yeah.
And so I liked the Grand Cherokee because I could go skiing and just have a ski rack on the top, and it was a good size, and I could drive up into the mountains without being afraid.
Okay. But tell us about that actual particular $1,200 vehicle.
Yeah, so the registration... the registration was super expired, and I don't think it had been turned on in like a year. But, I mean...
It was scary inside. All the lights went on with the dash.
There was no fuel gauge.
There's no fuel gauge.
Yeah.
You just had to guess how much was in there. The driver's side window didn't go down. Were there holes in the floor? I remember holes in the floor. No? Was there a door that didn't work, or was it just not the window?
I think it was just the window.
And then what about going around corners? Remember that?
It was a little bumpy.
Bumpy.
As Jeeps tend to be. Yeah.
It was scary. It was horrible. Now, I had been studying manifesting and was really interested in this process and not really sure how it worked. I think that I had accidentally manifested some things in my life, such as my cars, but hadn't really purposefully set forth to do that. But I had like a 5-step process, a simple 5-step process. And I remember talking to Ellie, and we were chatting in my office. Do you remember that conversation?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I asked her if she was willing to try something, even if she thought it was crazy. Were you willing to try something to manifest this car or a better vehicle? And I started out by saying, what do you think you're worth? Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think we come to some things and we have this set point belief of what we think we're worth. And a lot of times that can be detrimental to us because we have lower expectations and we settle for things lower than what we could achieve. And so that's what I kind of thought after riding in this horribly scary Jeep Grand Cherokee that I just thought was unsafe. The guy said that he hadn't registered it for 2 years because he hadn't gotten around to it. whatever. It was unsafe. It would have killed somebody. But anyway, so she had a small budget to get this, and I said, "Are you willing to try this experiment?" Now, how did our conversation go?
I had some preconceived notions. I was not excited about this. Yeah, mostly because he said, if you do this, then this will happen. But I couldn't do what he was telling me to do.
What was I telling you to do?
Like picture the car, picture what was happening around me.
Mm-hmm.
I have what's called aphantasia. It's really cool. Look it up.
Look it up.
It means you
Do
can't
some work.
see pictures in your brain. So if you ask me to picture an apple, I can't. Like I can't see it. But I can describe to you what an apple looks like. And it's a really weird thing. But you were saying like, what do you think you're worth? Well, if you think you're worth something, then picture this. And I was like, I can't.
The conversation did not go well.
Yeah.
It ended in tears. I was crying. Oh wait, no, she was crying. And it felt like I was asking so much of her, right?
It felt like I was being a little attacked. That's how I felt.
Sorry. Maybe I come across as tacky. But I was hoping that she would just be willing to try an experiment, right? And then, do you remember the 5 steps to doing this?
No, not
Okay.
specifically.
I'll run over them real quick and you can catch them in other videos on the 5 steps to manifesting. And the first step is to decide what you want and you write it down. The second step is gratitude. You express gratitude as if you've already received, just boost your gratitude levels. Number 3 is to ask for what you want. A lot of times I do that in prayer, and sometimes it's just asking the universe, and the universe is all the intelligences around that help organize and bring things to us. And then the 4th step is to experience it as if it has already happened. To actually really feel this. This is where you emotionalize it. And then the 5th step is the same as step number 2. What's that?
Gratitude?
Gratitude. Step 2 and 5 are the same. Gratitude. It's the key to everything. So anyway, I asked her to do this 5-step process to see if we could get a car that was even better than what she thought she was worth. Does that make sense? And did I say that right?
Yeah, it makes sense, but that's not what... Like, I didn't think that I wasn't finding a good car because I wasn't worth something. That's where our difference lies.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I was in tears, because I was like, "Ooh, he doesn't think I'm worth enough." But we figured it out eventually.
Yeah, and it was something that I was going through actually, because I felt I was worth a certain set point, and I wanted to turn up that set point so that I was worth more to myself and therefore to the world and things. And so anyway, that didn't work so well. Okay, but she started the process, and she had problems. What were the problems?
I couldn't see pictures in my head.
She couldn't see pictures in her head. Also, she couldn't decide. I couldn't even get her to commit if she wanted a car or a truck. Remember that?
Yeah, so I really wanted a truck, but I knew that I didn't have enough money for the kind of truck that would run. And so I didn't want to commit to something and then be disappointed when it was different or when it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so, yeah, that kind of makes it challenging to ask the universe for something that you're not even really specific on. And especially in going through the 5-step process, when you get to step number 4, how do you experience something that you haven't really figured out what you wanted? But she did it. So what did you do?
I finally just wrote some stuff down. I realized that...
I need to back up.
Oh, sorry.
I need to back up. There was something that happened in the office, remember? She was in tears because her dad was so mean. And I was just trying, are you willing to just try to do this experiment? And I remember in tears, she said, "Dad, it's not like the car's going to just appear in our driveway." Remember that?
Yep.
That's my favorite line. Okay, so we have to establish that in the story. And then she starts doing the process.
Yeah, to the extent that I could. I just wrote stuff down because I realized I wanted a car just so I could. It was more about independence than saying, oh, I want a car that's white, or I want a car that's like this many feet off the ground, you know? It was not about the kind of car I was getting. It was about driving by myself.
But driving by herself. And so when she started experiencing it, and I asked her to do this experiment for what, 2 minutes a day or something like that? You know, are you willing to just try it, to do 2 minutes a day on this experiment? She said yes, and she started to do it. And when she experienced the car or the vehicle, she was inside it. So she never really saw outside if it was a car or truck, right?
Well, I didn't see anything.
She didn't see anything. But
I wasn't really experiencing the car.
okay.
I was praying.
Oh, praying, okay.
Yeah, because I can't.
Yeah. So tell me about that. Tell us
So
about that.
I was just praying that I would have a car, and I went through some of the specifications that we added, like it would be nice if it had seat heaters, or it should be good for the winter, something like that. But he and I have different views on what that means. I saw the car as an answer to prayer, and I don't know what the universe is exactly, like what you view the universe as, but I think that I got the car because I asked for it from God, and I didn't create it from the universe. That's what I'm thinking.
That's what she's thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good thing to think. Yeah, and prayer is so powerful, and I absolutely believe in that. But so we jumped ahead. We didn't get to the
Oh,
part.
yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So, but she started this, and each day, and for more than just 2 minutes a day, she was actually doing the experiment. And she told me, and I don't know if this is true because we'll revisit it, that she would, when she was experiencing the car, thinking about experiencing the car, what she could mostly feel was the air conditioner, and it was really cold and it was blowing on her, and the stereo was just really nice, and she could just turn up her tunes as loud as she wanted. Is that true, or am I remembering it wrong?
I mean, I don't really recall.
Okay. That's what I remember from the story, is that her experience was all happening inside, and it was mostly the stereo and the cool air conditioning. Well, okay, so fast forward a week. I'm in our backyard doing some stuff, and this guy parks right behind us. We have a church parking lot. We're actually parked right here in the spot right at this moment. And he's outside, and he's taking pictures of his car. So I start chatting with him. What are you doing? Oh, I'm just getting it ready to sell. And it's this really nice white Lexus. Oh, really? Wow, it's a really nice car. How long you had it? We chatted, whatever. And then I asked him, how much you selling it for? $1,200. My jaw hits the ground. Really? I start asking other questions specific about the car. And called up Ellie, who was at a school activity, and had her run home if she was interested in it. Were you interested in it?
I was interested in it.
Very interested in it. And we ended up getting it. But the super interesting thing to me is, like, right there is our house. Right there is my driveway. And you can't get, like, any closer without the car actually appearing in our driveway. She's shaking her head. Was it a coincidence?
It's because God has a sense of humor.
God totally has a sense of humor. I hope you caught my episode on what scientists don't understand about God. That's it. He has a sense of humor. So anyway, this awesome thing she was able to create in her life, and she created by following those steps. I believe she created it. I believe she created it with God and with the universe. I believe that God is in charge of the universe, and the universe is all of these intelligences, microorganisms, energies, whatever, that all follow his command. And as she worked for and prayed for and was very specific about what she wanted, I think she manifested a Lexus for her first car. How many miles does it have?
Well, at the time I bought it, it was 369,000 miles, and now it's up to 379.
Yeah, we're going to the moon and back.
Halfway back.
Halfway back. Well, we're going to make
close.
it all the way back.
We're really close.
But, yeah. But anyway, what else is with the story?
I think we got it pretty much. The stereo is really nice.
Stereo is amazing. How's the air conditioning?
The heater turns on in like 2 seconds. It's pretty good.
Has a sunroof, leather interior, It's a Lexus. It was pretty for her starter car. So anyway, what I want you to do is think about something that you would like to create. And think, are you willing to try this experiment? To try this experiment of creating with God. That, through this 5-step process, again, 2 and 5 are the same. Gratitude is huge. You go through that process of getting specific about what you want. You ask God in the universe, and you experience it as if it's already happened. That is looking at it with an eye of faith. And I don't know. I think she meant the car. I don't know if the microphone picked that up. But we have a difference of opinion there. I'd love to hear what your opinion is. So in the show notes below, tell us what you think happened. And love to make this kind of interactive. But anyway, you get to see Ellie's car, and you got to meet my wonderful daughter, Ellie. All right, that's what we have. Make sure you hit subscribe so you get more shows like this, and you can tune in for other shows where we explain more about manifesting, more about what even is the universe, how God works, and what divine DNA we have within us so that we can actually create this wonderful stuff in our lives. So tune in for another episode of Are We Novice God? Are you looking to make the world a better place? Visit me at scottwilhite.com and sign up to become an Impact Insider. I'll keep you updated on the topics and ideas that may help you become your best, true, full self.